going, Master? For a drink.
Sorry about the mess.
You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. We must be cautious.
We're here at Star Wars Fan Days 2 in Dallas, or right outside Dallas in Plano, with none other than Ahsoka Tano herself, Ashley Eckstein. Hi, Ashley.
Thank you for having me.
So we were talking briefly before we started this interview. You were telling me this is your first convention experience.
Yes. I guess you could say I'm a convention virgin until now.
But how do you feel now after you've been through your first one?
I'm having a blast. I mean, everybody is so nice. I hope they're all like this because I'm having a blast.
Well, you were telling me you were a little nervous because you didn't really know what the fan reaction to Ahsoka is, or is going to be.
You never know when it's a new character. And, I just didn't know. Of course, everybody has their own opinion, and I've heard some good ones and some not so good ones. And, what I just go back to, I ask fans just to be patient with Ahsoka and watch her grow, because she does. She has to start somewhere. You know, she's not going to be perfect right off the bat, but that wouldn't be any fun if she were perfect right off the bat.
Right.
You know, this is a whole journey, and I ask the fans to watch her mature, watch her grow, because she will.
Yeah.
You know, and I've heard, some of the fans, and they've either come up and told me, and they'll say, well, we wish Ahsoka was a little more like this, and I just ask, trust me, she's going in the direction, from what we've recorded so far, she's definitely going in the direction that people are hoping for. So that's why I ask her patience, and I ask them to enjoy the ride, because I really think that they'll like the direction she's going in.
So since the last time you talked to us, the film's been released, the TV show is now out there. So sense of relief for you after working on it for so long?
Yes. I remember when I talked to you guys the first time, I was just so nervous about what I could say and couldn't say, because up until I did your interview, I really wasn't allowed to talk at all about my experience on the Clone Wars. And so that's why I was a little tight-lipped, because I was terrified to say too much, because for so long we couldn't say anything. And now, I mean, unless it's about future episodes, I can't really give away storylines, but I'm pretty much given full reign. I can discuss and answer questions, and I'm having a good time.
Do you find Ahsoka especially appeals to children?
I will say that the reaction has been strong among children, but one thing that's been surprising is it's not just girls. I would say it's actually 50-50 boys and girls, which I was really happy with, because, the one thing with Ahsoka, I mean, I definitely hope that she proves to young girls that, girls can be tough, girls can do the same things boys can do, so I hope that girls see that. But the one thing with Ahsoka is I don't think she sees a gender difference. I don't think she shows up in the movie on the first day and says, oh my gosh, I'm a girl. I hope, they give me the benefit of the doubt. I hope they give me credit. That doesn't even go through her mind. Like, she doesn't think that she's a girl or she's any less than the boy. She thinks, no, I'm the best Padawan for this job, for this position, and I'm going to prove it to him. And not for a second does she think of her gender.
Right, and she's definitely rough and tumble. She's action personified, too, which will appeal to boys, and it'll also appeal to girls, because Ahsoka certainly has, even though she's growing and learning, she does have a fair amount of confidence.
She does, and I think, I will say this. She does have a great deal of confidence, and she's not afraid to question. And I think she's a lot like Anakin, and that's why Yoda picked her to be with Anakin. So, but I will say, even though she may question, she has a ton of respect for him. And I think that she does realize the fine line there, that yes, she will question him if she thinks that, her opinion is right or he's not right, but she respects him. And I think she does a good job at showing that.
Yoda put Anakin and Ahsoka together primarily, I think, so Anakin can kind of see a lot of himself in Ahsoka and learn from that. Do you think that association may end up hurting Anakin?
You know what? I actually have no idea, because I have absolutely no idea really what her story arc is and what's going to happen. So I don't know. I do know that their bond, they really grow a lot closer, and they do form an attachment to each other, purely platonic. Let me continue to set the record straight.
Right. She's more of a bratty little sister, right?
Yes, it is brother-sister. There is no romantic relationship there. But I don't know. I will say that their bond definitely continues to grow stronger, but I don't know what happens. Now,
what about your personality do you find similar with Ahsoka?
Oh, dear. I definitely, I try to be more like her in the sense of just how positive she is. You know, I kind of say because she's young and she's so new to this, she's fresh and she's not jaded. And I think that's the difference. A lot of adults, you know, you're put through so many tough times. It's easy to become jaded, and she's not. She looks at the cup as though it's half full. She's very positive. She always looks at every mission with excitement and says, well, why can't we win this? Why can't we do this? And I love that about her. And I think that is my natural personality. I'm a very positive person, but even when I want to get down, I try to think of, okay, no, that's not how I should view this. And so I don't know. I mean, I definitely have brought some of my own personality to her, but you know, I try to remember and be like her more.
Now, Ahsoka, she's known to run head first into a situation, and she's also known to kind of talk Anakin down from what we've seen of the series so far. Do you think that Ahsoka's influence on Anakin is what will eventually lead him toward the dark side, or is there something about that relationship that pushes Anakin over the edge, you think, ultimately?
I mean, I really wish I had an answer. We just haven't gotten that far.
Yeah.
Everything that we've recorded so far is, you know, it's really exciting. A bunch of exciting, you know, battles and episodes. Like, it just, you know, a taste of what you've already seen. But I really don't know. And honestly, I just know that their friendship and, you know, definitely, and their bond grows a lot stronger. So I would think that would have some sort of impact in the future. But again, that's just purely my speculation because I have no idea.
What surprises you most about working with the Star Wars franchise?
That I would say, well, first of all, how nice everybody is. Everybody is truly, genuinely, honestly, just kind. I mean, I'm so blessed to go into that studio and work with the people I'm working with. Dave Filoni and Catherine Winder, our producer that we worked with on the first season, and Henry Gilroy and the whole cast. Everybody's just truly kind. But really just how planned out everything is. I mean, there's a reason behind everything. It's done a certain way, and a lot of the notes are from George Lucas directly. A lot of things. You know, also is the integrity of Star Wars and just making sure it sticks to the overall storyline. And, you know, one thing that I think is just so amazing, and I'll say, you know, what George Lucas has done with this is, you know, it really is such a great show for families and for kids and for just people in general, just the stories it teaches. It makes me think sometimes when I see those fortune cookies in the beginning, I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's right. And, you know, there's so many negative shows on television today that I'm proud to say that I'm working for a franchise that is committed to being positive, and I love that.
Well, that's really it's perfect for you because your personality, from what I can gather, just sitting here with you for the few minutes I have, is you keep a very positive, upbeat vibe about you at all times.
I think you have to in today's times, otherwise you may go crazy.
Now let's talk about a little bit of the behind-the-scenes stuff for people who are interested in the process that goes behind making the Clone Wars. When you gather with the other actors in the studio, who keeps things the loosest? Who likes to joke around in the recording studio?
Well, Dee Baker, who plays all the clones,
yes.
I mean, he does a ton of voices, and James Arnold Taylor are constantly doing different voices. Like, Dee Baker can do every single animal voice known to man, and so they're always keeping it light with their different voices. I'm constantly laughing. Dave jokes with me because I have this, it may be annoying to people, I don't know, but this giggle that just, I'm constantly laughing at them. And so I haven't gotten to laugh as Ahsoka yet, but Dave said he'll sneak one in there. But Dave, I mean, his stories are just amazing. Like, he can give you background on any possible thing you want to know. So we stall a little bit during our sessions and tell stories and laugh, and it really is a lot of fun. It doesn't feel like work at all.
Now, is there someone from the crew who keeps things very serious? Who's the most focused?
I'm going to give a shout out to Jen Berry. She's our casting person that does all the casting, and she runs our sessions. And she is the most fun-loving person. I mean, she's hilarious and fun to be with. But it's her job to keep a tight ship during the sessions, which is so funny because she's the one that would be the life of the party. But she has to be the bad guy and keep us on a schedule. So she's not mean at all. She's the nicest person in the world. But unfortunately, in our sessions, she has to be the bad guy.
Well, she knows what her job is, and she obviously does it well.
She's amazing at her job.
Now, how about someone from the cast who keeps it real focused and serious?
Matt is pretty focused, Matt Lanter, but I mean, he has an awesome sense of humor, and him and I kind of have an Anakin-Ahsoka relationship. We're constantly teasing each other, but he's usually pretty focused on the job, and that's why he's so good at what he does. But I mean, like I said, he's just a pleasure, and we have that banter going back and forth.
Do they videotape your recording sessions?
We videotaped a couple in the first season, but they're actually videotaping every one now because they've been sending it off to our animation studio overseas, and they've been using that for the animation. So maybe, starting later on in the first season and forward, you'll see some of my facial expressions on Ahsoka.
So it'll be more than just voice acting now. Now you're actually going to be putting a little more into it, huh?
I think so. I mean, it definitely makes you more aware of your facial expressions, but it is a little embarrassing if anybody gets a hold of that footage because I use a pencil as a lightsaber, and I haven't been trained to fight with a lightsaber yet, so I probably look like an absolute dork fighting with it. But that's one of the things on my list is I'm going to learn to fight with a lightsaber.
Maybe we'll see some of that footage on a DVD in the future,
I'm sure it's going to pop up somewhere, and I will be very embarrassed.
I would love to see Ashley Eckstein using a pencil as a lightsaber.
Number 2, yeah.
Number two
pencil.
Okay,
yes.
All right. Let's be specific out there for all of our Jedis running to the pencil sharpener right now. Dave Filoni, he's a great guy, wonderful to work with, I assume. And is he been known to change dialogue on the fly? Do you guys do a lot of that?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. I mean, it's definitely our series is very scripted. I mean, whoa. It's always, if we make up a line, it's always based off of a script. I mean, he'll never come into something and not have 100% of it already written. But we get to play around with things, and he also helps write some of the shows. So of course, it's nice to have him there when he helps write some of them. But there's some times where I know Ahsoka with her nicknames, which, trust me, guys, I know maybe it seemed like they're a little overused in the beginning, but it's not that way as the series goes on. I mean, I might use Sky Guy 3 more times in the rest of the whole series, and then maybe R2E 2 or 3 times. I use them a lot in the movie, but in the series it's not. So, I personally like R2E, but if you don't, trust me, it doesn't get overwhelming. But to some of the creatures, and she'll come up with some funny names for them, and sometimes we'll make those up on the fly. So
you've obviously heard some of the nitpicking and the criticism about the nicknames.
Yes, I've heard it, and from what I've heard, the nicknames came directly from George Lucas himself. That was not something that me coming from Disney Channel walked into the studio and said, hey, I want to make up Sky Guy. I mean, like I said, I actually personally like the nicknames, but everything, like I said earlier in the interview, is thought out and planned out. And that's what I like about it. Nothing, they're putting so much thought into this for the fans, and they want the fans to like it. Yes. And so, we're not just trying to mess up Star Wars here. We're really putting a lot of thought into it, and hopefully everybody likes it. It definitely gets better from here.
Well, and everyone has said that too. It really seems like you guys are starting to really hit a groove after coming out of the gate strong, I believe. And as far as the nicknames go, I mean, I'm a lifelong Star Wars fan, and quite honestly, the R2.
Give me your honest opinion here.
I am, and I am being honest with you. My opinion of the R2 is that I didn't even notice it the first time I saw the movie. It just seemed natural. Ahsoka's she's got a very playful characteristic to her, and it's something that I like seeing introduced into the Jedi who have been pretty buttoned down. They've been pretty almost stodgy, and to me, Ahsoka's a breath of fresh air. And the fact that I didn't notice the R2, even though it was said several times in the film, I didn't notice it until people told me about it afterwards. It just sounded natural coming out of Ahsoka, so I bought it. I bought it 100%.
And that's actually what we tried for. I mean, we want it to be natural. We want it to be like it just flows off the tip of her tongue. And I mean, they definitely wanted the feel of the first three movies, kind of in her attitude, for sure. I wanted her to be fun and spunky and a, kind of a mix of Anakin and Obi-Wan and kind of, to bring, I don't know, I think they liked her spunk to help bring out the fun side of Anakin, the hero side of Anakin. And I think if she were very buttoned up and boring, I don't think you would see that side of Anakin. Right. And I think it takes that personality to bring it out of him. And so I've also heard some people's comments that they like the direction Anakin's going, but Ahsoka may be too much. But you know what? To me, I view that as a good thing because, wow, that's the whole point. So we tried to make Ahsoka that way to bring that out of Anakin. So if it achieved that, good. I'm happy to hear that. Yeah.
It's a lot of your own personality that I hear with Ahsoka, too. And what did... You mentioned your Disney Channel past. Now, hasn't there been... an association made by fans between another famous Disney Channel celeb or character and Ahsoka?
Yes, I've heard people call Ahsoka the Hannah Montana of Star Wars. And, here's what I say. Disney Channel tries really hard to create positive programming for kids. And definitely that's what we're trying to do with Star Wars as well. And so yes, I view the similarity is there in that sense that we're trying to create a positive character for kids. But I think the comparison stops there. I think Ahsoka, I'm proud to play a character that, kids that parents have no problem allowing their kids to watch that show at 9 p.m. and allowing their kids to say, sure, yeah, you can follow Ahsoka and not be worried about it. And if that draws the comparisons, then that's fine. But I don't see the characters being similar. But I'm not ashamed to say that there's no problem with the kids watching what she does.
Right. Now, moving from Disney to Lucasfilm, did you see a lot of similarities between the two companies, or are they vastly different? Or
I mean, I think maybe they just. Oh, I don't know. Nobody's asking that question.
You just go in there and do your thing, right?
Yeah, I just go in and do my thing. I think they're committed to putting good programming out there, and that's what I like. I mean, they're very, very picky about what they put out there because they have a lot of integrity about their programming, and I like that. Nothing's rushed. Everything's carefully thought out, and I'm happy to be a part of something like that. Unfortunately, a lot of programming today, everything's so rushed. And, they're just on a deadline to just get something on television. And that's when you can get some pretty interesting program when it's thrown together at the last minute. But I feel very blessed that we had 3 years to work on this. And we didn't have to release it until we felt that it was right. And Disney's a lot like that. I would I would film some of my episodes a year before they would air. And so Disney's a lot like that as well. So, they take pride in their work. I would say that's how they're similar.
Now, you're here in Texas with your husband, David Eckstein, who plays shortstop. He's played for super popular.
Actually, I'm going to correct you there. For 8 years now, he's been a shortstop.
Yes.
But he is switching this year to second base.
Right.
Which, what people don't know, and why I say that is because he's actually originally a second baseman, and nobody knew that.
Oh, okay.
So next year, look for him on the other side of the infield, and he's really excited about it because he hasn't really gotten to show people his natural position. So that's why I bring it up, because we're really excited, and he was very blessed at shortstop, but we're excited to make the switch.
You know what would make things even more exciting is seeing him play second base with the Chicago White Sox, right, Dave? Wait, you talking to Kenny Williams about coming to the White Sox?
I'm not allowed to talk like that right now because that'd be totally tampering.
Yeah, it would be. It would be. But you know what? That's not beneath me.
Switching to second?
Yes. I mean, second base was always my natural position, and had the opportunity to finish up there and with the Diamondbacks, and I loved it, and that's where I want to go play.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you a question. This is your first convention experience with the Star Wars thing. You've probably done baseball card conventions and whatnot in the past. What do you notice similar between baseball fans and Star Wars fans?
I think the biggest thing is the passion for what they love. You know what I mean? When you're doing a baseball thing, they love to have the opportunity to come and see the people they root for and stuff. And this is on my wife's side, it's a little different. Now they're seeing the actual voice of characters, but then we see some of the real live animation people are here. So I think you see the love and passion they have for why they show up at these events.
It's a similar appreciation just for talent.
Without a doubt. You know what I mean? Just sitting here. And the coolest thing with watching what my wife does is seeing the little kid's reaction when she actually says a thing. Because that's one thing, even as a player, no matter how much you've played, no matter whatever you've been experienced, to see the smile on the face of someone when they come up is something that is very special. And I get to see that now with her when they realize she's Ahsoka Tano and she does the voice, so it's pretty cool.
Amazing. Now, are you a Star Wars fan?
Actually, I am. I'm not as enthralled as these, but I definitely growing up as a kid, seeing episode 4, 5, and 6 were very important to not only me but the rest of my family and stuff. And I was out there the first weekend that episode 1 when it came out, and so definitely I'm a big fan of the movies, and just seeing it, I definitely need to freshen up and get a lot more knowledge of the actual whole universe. And so because I'm not that well grasped as the rest of the people that are here.
Have you seen all the shows?
I have not seen episode 2 and episode 3 fully yet, but that's one thing we are definitely definitely I'm gonna be doing. It's just one of those things that when I'm playing, you have no idea. I am so, and
you get so locked in. That's what you do.
I was in AA when they released the episode 1, and I made it the first off day we had. But I will find a way to definitely see it, and find. I haven't missed the episode of the new Clone Wars TV show.
Great.
I'm definitely enthralled in watching that and seeing all the new episodes that they bring out. My biggest thing is because I don't really get to find out what goes on, and so I am very interested in see the development of the character Ahsoka Tano, and then also the development of Anakin. I'm hoping it gives us a little insight of maybe why he turned dark.
Yeah. See, we're all wondering that. Now, with Ashley being your wife, she actually was working on this project for quite a while before she could even talk to you about it. Isn't that right?
That is definitely true.
Yeah.
The thing about it was I knew about the audition, and I actually went with her when she first auditioned.
Cool.
And so, and even for the second audition, I was with her both times. And the funny thing, which I don't know if many people know, is that she actually hired a dialect coach to help her with just maybe having something that might sound like what she wants.
What dialect did they want? They wanted from Bjork.
Yeah, no, it was
Icelandic.
Icelandic. No,
Icelandic. That's what they wanted. So I went to a dialect coach and really nailed down Icelandic.
Yeah.
Well, literally the first line that came out of my mouth, they're like, "No, we don't want that. We want Icelandic." And I go, "But that is Icelandic."
We got the best guy.
The one accent that I'm just not very good at is like a mix between like Eastern European or Russian. I'm just not very good at it, and that's what they wanted. So I stayed pretty composed during auditions, but I really let my guard down because I couldn't give them. They wanted the one accent that I couldn't give them, and I was like, man, and I was like, my arms were all over the place. I was kind of beating myself up, and apparently that's what they wanted in Ahsoka, was like just, you know, that kind of grit, how she gets mad at herself if she can't, you know, get something right. And so that's what happened, and I ended up getting the job. And I remember looking at David, I'm like, how in the world did I get this job? Because I couldn't give them the accent they wanted.
I also remember you going into your first session not really even knowing what voice to use.
Yeah, I'm like, they may ask me to do Icelandic for all I know. And then, you know, I walk in and they're like, no, just use your regular voice. And so I was like, oh, okay, you know, I can do that.
So she got the job, and then the one thing that we did, she was not allowed to tell. They told her that she was not allowed to tell anybody about this new character, about what she was doing with the job. And when you tell her not to say something, she's not going to say something. And I know people go, well, why won't you tell you? Well, I'm sure she told her husband, and I did not want to know because I'm around too many media and I have too big of a mouth.
Right.
And all of a sudden we're like, you know, I had to clear. Yeah, my wife's working for Star Wars. You know, she's so good. Oh, you know what I mean. And so I did not want to ever even come close. So I did not know about it for the first year until we got invited up to the ranch.
Yeah.
And show up at the front door. They go, your husband knows. And it's like, no, he doesn't. And like, really? And so, well, you can tell him now.
Yeah.
We have the confidentiality papers that he needs to sign.
Oh, okay.
And so I signed them. Then I got to be opened up to her world and got to see how everything developed. They showed us how they were making the animation. They showed us the sound. We went and watched a little bit of the first episode. It ended up being part of the movie now, and actually Mr. Lucas's private screening room. So it was actually pretty cool. It was a pretty cool day.
Wow, how cool. And well, I mean, you know, obviously there's probably a little bit of confidentiality that goes on with you too in the Major League Clubhouse, or I'm sure there's certain things you don't want to be telling Ashley about. Right? so you know, what goes around comes around. But what about the ranch? You know, for you know, to go out there and be at such an incredible place. What are your impressions of that?
Story about that, because we just went,
Yeah.
and he's kind of a picky eater.
Oh, yes.
And
Yes.
they have very healthy food up there. It's awesome. Like, I love it because I like the fruits and vegetables, and so he's kind of picky, and he ate like cereal for 24 hours because he'll eat cereal.
Yes, I am very picky with the food I eat, and so I showed up and it was like, okay, I'm eating cereal today. But they do have a nice cafe that was open for lunch.
Their food is amazing up there.
And so I was able to get some chicken breasts for the lunch part. But I went for the dinner time and the morning time with basically cereal both days for both mornings. So, but no, I mean, the ranch was something that, it almost kind of like surreal in that sense, because you hear about it, you have no clue where it's located. Yeah. And then you show up, and you know what I mean, it's back in the deep on the mountain in the woods, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so you're driving this little winding path to even find out to get there. And then we showed up and, basically walk out the one door we walked out and they're like, okay, turn in a 360 degree view, and he owns everything here. Yeah. And it's like, oh my gosh, like I think one of the cool things when we showed up late a couple weeks ago, 2 deers were playing, so all of a sudden 2 deers just run out in front of us as we're walking, because we had the opportunity to actually spend the night there. Yeah, right. And it ran right in front of, there's wild animal there and stuff, and it's like it's actually, you know what I mean, they could probably film some of the battle scenes that they had, especially in Return of the Jedi there.
Yeah, sure. It's just beautiful area. Someday I'll be over there,
It's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. You really do feel like you're on a movie set. I kind of feel like there's going to be an Ewok popping out of, the trees. Like, okay, where definitely. Are they? I know they're here.
Yeah.
So as long as I got you two together, I got to ask you, David, when Ashley gets in her moods, as all wives do you ever find yourself calling her Snips?
No, but I've told him that he's gone to the dark side at some times. If after a game he went like 0 for 4 and he was upset, I'm like, David, I need to pull you back. You've gone over to the dark side.
Yeah. No, actually, I think it's more her pulling me back. She's a great wife. and her moods are really not that bad.
And I should say neither are his. I mean, he keeps me positive. He has, he leaves it at the field, and I mean, he's really is a great guy. I just joke,
18 now.
because when you have 162 games a year just in the regular season and then the playoffs, so that's our joke. But he does wear his Skywalker Ranch hat to the field pretty much every day.
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of comments about my Skywalker Ranch, and I actually got a new one that I'm wearing right now. It's actually the branding logo of his cows, and no one's really noticed it right now. Only one person even asked me about it, and no one known that this is a special thing actually from the ranch.
Wow, yeah, so, it's an S and an R, Skywalker Ranch. I see that. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I didn't make the connection.
Well, the thing is, because I'm not very big on like you'll never see me like wearing the team's hat I wear or anything like that. So no one knew. I was showing up in the Skywalker Ranch hat, for the past 3 years, and people and then now they feel about the show, oh, you're just bragging. So I had to find something that is definitely that they won't be as obvious to the eyesight, and so that only the true fans will actually know about.
Well, and it's great now that you're going through your off season, so you two guys can finally spend a little time together. Right?
He's become my partner in crime this off season. I've taken him along for the ride, and we're having fun. We're just having a blast.
Yeah, this is a great time.
That's awesome. Well, Dave, I hope that I'm going to see you over on the south side. I really do. I think you'd fit in perfectly with the White Sox if this gets back to Kenny Williams. You got my seal of approval. And like I said, I'm available for representation should you need it.
Sweet.
What are you giving your agent right now? I'll take 5%. Okay, that's pretty sweet, isn't it?
That's the normal deal.
That's normal. All right, I'll do it for 3.
For 3.
3%.
We actually have the same agent, so.
Oh, really?
Because just dealing with agencies out there and stuff like that, I have 2 great people that are very, the main thing, very honest, very upfront, will tell you exactly the truth. And she's been dealing with people, and it's like, it's been a running joke that, hey, we're going to represent you. You know what I mean? And finally, my wife's like, hey, will you? And they're like, okay. So basically, they actually help her out with all the Star Wars stuff and just like the conventions. Being in the baseball, there's definitely conventions and stuff like that, and dealing that side of things. And so that's what they're doing. And then they get to book her times for the recordings.
Well, that's awesome. No matter where you end up in the 2009 season, I'm sure you're going to have continued success on the ball field, and I look forward to seeing you play some second.
Yeah, I'm very much thrilled, yes. The funny thing about it was I played there all my life until I got to the big leagues, and had to make the switch because of it was just a need, and then never went back. And so, but I think this is a great opportunity right now to do something I've always wanted to do, and that's play second base in the big leagues. And it's going to be a great opportunity.
Well, from the major leagues to a galaxy far, far away, you got it covered. So you're obviously very blessed, and I think you realize that. So.
I am very blessed. Me and my wife and our whole family, and we definitely realize that, and we're very thankful.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thanks a lot for your time. Ashley, best success with Star Wars. I think the Clone Wars is just going to be something that's going to be it's going to be up there with all the Star Wars films, and it's going to be something that fans are going to live and love for a long, long time. And
thank you very much.
Your contributions are certainly huge.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, I appreciate the fans tuning in so far. It's been doing really well for the Cartoon Network, and it's because of the fans, and I just thank you so much. And it gets better from here, I promise, and it's definitely going in the direction that I hear the fans, they're like, oh, I wish this could happen. Well, we might, we have some things that are coming up for you, so just keep watching.
Yeah, it sounds like it's just going to keep getting better and better, and I can't wait for the ride.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ashley.
Hey there, this is Ashley Eckstein, and this is Rebel Force Radio, your source for the Force.